Holy Toledo!
What is up, guys? Justin here, coming to you from Ohio. I have never said that before on the channel. It's been many, many years since I've been to Ohio. We are in North Toledo right now at a store you can kind of see called Replay here. This is going to be the only game store stop of the evening. It's Thursday evening right now, just after 6:30. So we're hitting this up quick. Gonna grab some dinner, get to the hotel. Gonna stop at a couple more stores tomorrow. Sales. I feel like it's already the garage sale weekend. Stores tomorrow, and then I've got a few other leads for tomorrow as well. So let's go see what Replay has to offer. It is the next morning now, Friday morning. I've had my chance to collect my thoughts, and I can confirm that that Replay store we went to last night is in the top 3 worst game stores I have ever been to. I did buy a few things. I caught them slipping on like 1 or 2 games, but the layout of the store was awful. The organization was abysmal. They had everything, all their cartridge stuff was either in a glass case or it was sealed in one of those like Pan America style plastic cases that are impossible to look through. And most of the stuff in their glass case you could not see the prices on. So naturally I had to inquire, I had to find an employee, ask him, hey, can you pull that out? I'd like to see the price on it. And when you asked them, they looked completely appalled that you were inquiring about a price on a video game at what was mostly a video game store. So that is definitely not going to be a stop if I'm ever back in the area. There is another one of those Replay locations in Toledo here that I might just skip, because if it's anything like the one we went to last night, yeah, not worth it. Not recommended if you're ever in Northern Ohio.
Holy Toledo!
Well, I'm stuck at this intersection right now waiting for this train to go by. I figured I'd shoot this quick clip. I'm heading over to a guy's house or apartment right now. I found this guy on Facebook last night, and he called me and told me that he's like a reseller guy, I guess, and he's got a ton of video game stuff. After talking to him on the phone, the vibe that I got was that, yes, he's like a reseller guy, but video games aren't necessarily his forte, so I think he just buys them when he sees them because he knows they're worth money, but never really got around to selling any of them. So I explained to him that, you know, I'm kind of trying to stock up for a store, which I kind of am. I mean, I need inventory for our shows and at the antique store and stuff. So I told him the prices I'm willing to pay for stuff. You know, there's got to be a little bit of room for me there. So I'm hoping that he's willing to wheel and deal a little bit. And I don't know, I might be loading up the car, or I might be coming home or leaving his house with nothing. We'll see. All right, guys, it is hot as balls out here. It's supposed to hit close to 100 today. Not used to this. Kind of feels nice though. Anyway, check it out.
Holy Toledo!
I just loaded up. Let's check this out. So I spent way more than I thought at that guy's house. These are the only console systems I got here. The GameCubes. I got some Game Boy stuff up here, Game Boy printer, some games, some decent stuff in here. And then this was the main box here. I mean, there is just some pretty AAA stuff in here. The whole bottom of the box is all like Nintendo stuff. And yeah, I have to go through it all either tonight or when I get home and see how good of a deal it actually was. But it wasn't cheap. Obviously, the guy was a reseller, but I got everything for, I think, about 50 to 60% of retail. So not too bad. Off to Columbus. All right, what's up, guys? Justin here in Columbus now, downtown Columbus. This is crazy. Never been here before. Just dropped Sabrina off. Well, I think Nationwide Arena somewhere back here. There's a big convention center. That's what she's doing this weekend. I don't think I mentioned that. She's got a convention that she's going to for one of her businesses that she does. So anyway, it is 1:56, and I basically have until the game stores close to go game hunting. I don't think I'm going to hit them all today because I have all tomorrow, Saturday too. So heading to South Columbus now. There's a couple game stores down there. I don't remember what they're called, but let's hope I can find my way there. All right, guys, just got to my first store. Maybe you guys can see it over there somewhere. It's called Game On in South Columbus. I've already got my trunk halfway full of stuff, but got 5 or 6 stores to hit probably today, maybe more. See if I can't fill it up all the way. I still got tomorrow too, though. So it is killing me to turn my AC off, or down at least, to film these clips here because it is so humid outside. I'm dying right now. So let's get through these quick. Couple pickups from Game On. For the NES, I got Miracle Piano. Obviously kind of useless without the piano attachment, but this is one that I've never even seen the cartridge anywhere. So I picked it up for $11.99 for the collection. Not a steal of a deal on it. They were really open at the store about inquiring about prices or whatever if I had questions. So I asked him about this one, kind of hoping he would go $9.99 on it, but he was like, no, he's like, that's cheaper than what's going for, which not really what I saw, but whatever. $12 is fair at least. And then I also got Roswell, Conspiracies, Aliens, Myths, and Legends for the PlayStation 1. I have never seen this one. They had 2 copies of this there for $4.99 each. So I grabbed this one. Maybe this one will shoot up with the whole Area 51 raid trend thing, whatever's going on with that. And then also from that store, I got a poster for Sabrina. It's a Breath of the Wild poster. I'm not going to open it to show it here, but that'll be a nice surprise for her. So I might grab some lunch here. There's a Ponderosa over here, which I was kind of eyeing up. And then I'm going to hit, I think there's one more game store on this side of Columbus. Just roll up to Video Games Express, also in like the southern Columbus area. Let's go see what they got. Freaking hot out, man. Just left Video Game Express. I did not buy anything. I showed a little bit of footage of the inside, I think, there, and they just didn't have much quality stuff. They had some decent PS1 and PS2 games, but even a lot of that kind of stuff was like disc only in their glass cases and whatnot. I didn't see a single boxed NES game, didn't see a single boxed N64 game, so just not a lot of quality. And it seemed like their baseline, like lowest of the low price on anything was like $4.99, which, I mean, for a lot of filler stuff is pretty overpriced. Well, after a 45-minute drive, I have arrived at the Ultimate Video Game Connection, somewhere in eastern Columbus area. Let's go. Well, I just got over that rant from this morning about that replay store in Toledo, where I'm not going to go over the rant again. It was a top 3 worst game stores I've ever been into. Video Game Connection makes the list. That was horrible. Those mountains and mountains of games they had in those glass cases, decent NES and Super Nintendo games, none of them were priced. And I went up to the counter and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, like, can I check out some of these games? I can't see the prices. And he's like, oh, which one were wondering about? I have the list on the computer. And I was like, are you serious? Like, first of all, I'm calling BS that they have a list up there. If they had a list up there, they would print them off and put the tags on them. I'm pretty sure that anything I would have asked about, they just would have put into price charts and that would have been the price for it. Like, I'm sorry, that's just lazy. That's just lazy. You're gonna have a game store and you're not even gonna price anything? At least the games at the replay in Toledo were priced, even though I had to ask for them. At least they were priced. So I know there was no funny business going on if I asked about something and they looked it up on their computer. That's just lazy. That's brutal. I'm sorry. There was one Wii game that I was thinking about buying that I'd never seen before that is now on my wanted list, but it's like, whatever, I'll just buy it online, you know. Yeah, I'll pay a little more for it online. I don't care. I'd rather do that than give this place any business, so Yikes. All right. A couple more to hit today. Let's hope they're better than this one. I just pulled up to Forever Games here. It's kind of like in this unique building. All these signs here are all uniform. Let's go check out what they got. So that was a really small store, kind of like a dark, not creepy, but like just really dark. It was kind of hard to see stuff in there, and everything was really expensive. You can tell like that's the kind of store like you recognize it. All the games were in like their little baggies and stuff with the price on them, like stuff you would take to conventions and stuff like that. Where yeah, people might pay those prices, but no, not for me. They had that whole wall of like WATA sealed games and stuff that they were kind of bragging about to all the customers and stuff. It's kind of like an elitist type store. Just wasn't really feeling it. But there's a Goodwill right behind it back here, and I didn't think I was gonna find anything because there was a game store right next to it. But I found for $4 each Forza Horizon 2 for the 360. This was going for like $20, $25 not too long ago. I think it's come down quite a bit now, but still $4 was a good deal for that. And I grabbed this one because I'd never seen it before. What is it? F1 2012. I don't think it goes for a ton more than what I paid for it, but again, I had never seen it before and it was in really nice shape, so I grabbed it. So I got one more game store to hit. I don't even know what it's called right now, but it's on the way back to the hotel, and then I will finally be able to unload everything and go through all that stuff from this morning / relax. Well, I thought Wisconsin had a lot of farms, but this is where my GPS is taking me right now in order to get to the next game store. It's crazy that farms like this exist right outside of the huge city.
11 minutes later.
I'm still in farm country. This is quite the contrast to what I've been driving through the last 24 hours. And I'm hoping there's a game store at the end of this road somewhere. Last stop of the day, Capital Games in... I have no idea where I am right now. So, did that store look familiar? Completely different name, Capital Games, but I have a feeling it's gotta be owned by the same person that owns that unlimited video game connection store that I ranted about earlier, because this was the exact same concept. They had, all their cartridge games, really nice stuff, nice and alphabetically organized on these nice glass case shelf things. None of it was priced. This store had a lot more cool stuff to look at, though. I will say they had like those glass cases with the really nice systems in there. They had a lot of those really cool like Nintendo and Game Boy signs and stuff, the light up signs. So they had that going for them, but none of it was priced. So I'm beginning to think that these stores are more like to display someone's collection than they are to actually sell video games. I don't know. They had like some tabletop board game tournament thing going on in there, and I didn't buy anything. I wasn't even in there for that long because I'm not going to sit there and pick through stuff when I have no idea what the price is. That's kind of a waste of my time. So anyway, I'm going to head to the hotel now, get everything unloaded, and then I'll go through. I'll probably get some video tonight of all that stuff that I have in the bag. Okay, I wanted to do a quick recap of the stuff I picked up on the way down to Ohio, along with the couple things I got from that first replay store in Toledo. So this one I picked up like 5 minutes after I left our house. This was a local Facebook deal I got from my buddy Tom. A clear Game Boy system here, which it looks like he got a steal of a deal on for $9.99. There's a big old scratch in the screen there, but I was kind of planning to replace the screen anyway, so that'll be going in the collection. And then Contra the Alien Wars, which it also looks like he got a steal of a deal on. I gave him $35 for the pair of them here. Again, this is for the collection. I should be able to get most of my money back from this game here. So thank you to Tom for that deal. And then I was looking on the Facebook classifieds, and when I got down to Lower Michigan, I picked up this bundle here. This is a graphite GBA SP 101 model, which I've never had the graphite one before. And there's a little bit of scratching and stuff on the top there, but the screen is in really nice shape. And the faceplate here is really nice, so I was pretty pumped about that. No charger, but I've got an extra charger for those. And then it came with these games here. This one here I needed for the collection. The rest of these I already have, or I don't really collect for the Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy Color much, but this one's like a $30 game too. I was surprised to see that. And then I got him to throw in these DS games here as well. All three of these are actually for my collection. He had a bunch more DS games, but I just kind of picked out the few that I wanted. These are like the three better ones that he had anyway. So I paid $75 for that whole bundle, which is pretty good because I'm pretty sure this with a charger goes for $80 to $100 alone. So not too bad there. And then finally, the pickups from the replay in Toledo. I already took the price tag off this one because I wanted to see if it was going to damage the box, but this was $5.99. That's complete in there. I don't see the complete in box Game Boy stuff that often. And then I grabbed this long box PS1 game here for $8. This one I did not have for the collection, so for $2 I'll take it. And this one I caught them slipping on because I'm pretty sure this is like a $15 to $20 cartridge. So this store though, I don't even know if I want to get into it right now. It was pretty bad though, but I guess I'll just leave it at that for now.
Holy Toledo!
Okay, here is a recap of the haul from this morning. This is going to be about 3 parts since I'm kind of limited on space here and light. Look at my ingenuity here to get some decent lighting for this video. It's very dark in this hotel room, but start up by showing the NES stuff I got here. These first 4 stacks I'm going to show are basically all filler titles, but I only paid, I believe, $2 a piece on these, which for some of them is obviously not a great deal, but for the majority of these, I would say $2 is a pretty good deal. And then this last stack up here has most of the better titles in here. I believe I paid about $5 a piece on these, which again, I mean, for some of them is kind of like, you know, break even-ish, but for most of these is pretty solid. I mean, Kickle Cubicle, Donkey Kong Classics, those are at least $20 cartridges, Castlevania down there. So overall, I was pretty happy with the NES stuff. He had a bunch of systems as well, but I've got so many NES systems at home right now, I didn't even make him an offer on those. I didn't get much Super Nintendo stuff from him. Again, he had like 4 or 5 systems and a couple more stacks of games, but he kind of felt like it had a little more value than what I was willing to offer him on it, so he held on to most of it, but I did get these from him. He had a couple copies of Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart, so I got one of them from him. Link to the Past, Mario RPG, and Yoshi's Island. A couple Super Game Boys. I paid individual prices on these, like, for example, I think I got Zelda for like $12 or $15. I think I gave him $35 for Mario RPG, so not like phenomenal deals, but I had people asking about this at our last show. I can easily get $50 for that, no problem. So there's enough room there for me anyway. And then onto the 64 stuff. Here's all the decent 64 stuff he had. And he did have some systems, but again, same kind of situation. I'm way overstocked on 64 systems, so I didn't make him an offer on those. He had a few more filler titles in here, but I mean, Battle Tanks is probably the best one. A bunch of sports games in there, but this was the decent stuff. Again, I paid individual prices on these, but they were decent. I mean, I think I got the Mario 64s for like 12 each or whatever, so, you know, about half price, maybe a little bit over, but all easy games to sell. And then finally moving on to the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox stuff. Not much here. This is all the GameCube stuff that he had, aside from, well, I'll show a few systems here in a minute, but some okay titles in here. You know, Mario Party 7. I don't think I have this Namco Museum for the collection yet, so probably be adding that one in. And then a few random Xbox and one PlayStation 2 game that I just grabbed. I think I paid 8 or 10 each on these ones, and then like 5 each on those. I don't even know if that's a good deal. Most of the stuff he had was filler stuff for those systems, so I just kind of picked these out as ones that kind of struck my mind, but I'll have to look those up and see if that was a good deal. I know for these two it is. I don't know about those two though. So Anyway, I'm gonna clear off some room here and I'll show you guys probably some Game Boy stuff next. Here is the Game Boy stuff that I got this morning. A couple copies of Tetris, we'll get to those in a minute, but real quick I'm gonna pan over this filler stuff up here. I paid like 50 cents a piece on these. But onto some of the better stuff here. This Marble Madness in Clax is sealed, I think. I don't think this goes for a whole lot sealed anyway, but still kind of cool to find. Some better original Game Boy stuff here. And yeah, into the Tetrises here. So I got kind of screwed on these Tetrises because he looked one of them up while I was there. And these are selling for like, you know, $10 to $12 on eBay or whatever, but I honestly don't think they're worth that much. I mean, at least not to me. I have a bunch of them already, but I ended up grabbing them all. I paid like half of that, so I can't really complain too much. This one's different though. The label on this one is different. I didn't realize there was a variant in the Tetris label. Like some of the text on the side of these is different too. So someone can drop a comment and inform me how many label variants there were for Tetris on the Game Boy. Not that I'm dying to collect them all or anything. Speaking of collect them all, or catch them all, I guess, these Pocket Monsters games, I believe it's gold and silver. These are Japanese imports there. And then a couple other decent Game Boy Color games here. And then on to some of the Game Boy Advance stuff. I paid like 10 to 12 each on the Pokemons and the Zelda, and then the rest of these I think I paid 5 on, which I don't even know how good of a deal that is. I'm not familiar with what the Mega Man games go for on the GBA, but it was Mega Man, so I figured $5 can't go wrong. And then I got a couple systems here, a silver Game Boy Pocket and a yellow Game Boy Color. That one needs a new screen, but I've got extras. And then this Game Boy printer, which was kind of like the highlight of this whole deal for me because I've never owned one of these before. I have like paper at home for it, Game Boy printer paper, and the cable and everything, but I've never owned the actual unit. So assuming this works, or even if it still works, I don't even know how to use it, but hopefully I can test that out. I think that'd be kind of cool. Some miscellaneous manuals here. Tetris, a few other ones, nothing too great in here. Some games I didn't even get, like Tetris 2, that wasn't in there. I don't think I got that one either. NES manual there. So anyway, let me clear myself some room here and I'll move on to just real quick the GameCube systems that I got. So yeah, the only console systems I got from him were these 3 GameCubes here, a couple black ones and an indigo one. They all came with a controller here. These ones both need new caps on them, but I've got the rubber caps at home. And then the Spice Orange one was kind of cool. The joystick on it is a little bit loose though, but I'm sure that still works all right. And then the cords here. So he was only asking $25 a piece on the GameCube bundle, so $75 for all of this, which is pretty good. I mean, it's like half price of at least what I sell them for. So I'm not exactly sure why he was willing to go that low on the GameCubes and not really any of the other systems that he had, but hey, I'll take it.
Holy Toledo!
Wow, I'm freaking sweaty.